Hello? If you can hear me, let me know. How's the sound? I hope the sound is working. Loud and clear. Thanks, Carlos. Hey everybody, Alex, Schwartz, Georgios, Byron, King, Bastian, Carlos, another Alex. Got 3 Alexes so far. Alright, welcome folks. So you're here because of this thing called Copilot. It's this little tool that's an AI-driven helper, little Copilot. So I got access to this thing, and I thought I'd share. Why not? Can you see my screen? Sounds like a Zoom meeting, doesn't it? Can you see my screen? Who can see my screen? Alright, welcome folks. Vlad from Ukraine, welcome. Donato, hi from Brazil. This is awesome. We got people from everywhere coming and joining here. So this is a tool, just a brief intro for those that are not familiar with what this is. It's a little tool by OpenAI, and Microsoft purchased it, and now they've integrated it into GitHub. And I've tried it. I haven't tried it like on a full-blown project, just going at it and using it, but I did try this by accident. So I installed it into VS Code. It's an extension. I'll show that to you right here. So it's called Copilot. This is what it looks like. It's in preview right now. And you can sign up and try to get it. It's I got approved within 1 day. So you can sign up right here and try to sign up and try it yourself. So I had it on and I was working on some code and it started helping me out, and I thought, this is more than just your usual typical autocomplete goodness that VS Code provides. This is like some serious thinking going on behind the scenes here. For example, I was typing out a Python piece of code, and the names of the variables were coming in from a different file, but the variables were 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it figured that out. It figured out exactly what variables were missing and filled them in. So I thought we'd give it a try, and if you folks have your own questions, we can try things too, as long as it's not going to be a crazy difficult thing to set up, because I don't want to keep this long today. We can do more of these if you are interested. So thanks for showing up. Let's try Copilot. I got a folder here with a couple of different tests I thought about doing. So let's see if we have oh yeah, Alex Schwartz, MS Microsoft does own GitHub. I should have specified that. And Shu Hua says you can chat with Copilot. Yeah, I did try that. I had a video last week, I think I came out with that, where you can just try typing regular text in a markdown file and it'll fill in the rest. Pawan asks if this is a DIY headphone cover. It's not. So these headphones are really nice. I really like them, but if I wear them for a long time, it hurts my head. So that's why I bought this little thing on Amazon a while ago. I don't have sewing skills like this. I wish I did. Alright, so Shuhua says JavaScript, Python, TypeScript, and Ruby. Well, I have a React folder here, I have a JavaScript folder, and a Python folder. So let's try to do, I don't know, Python or JavaScript. Which one do y'all want to see first? We'll try to get to both of them today. There's a little bit of a delay, so I'll see what you guys want to say. We can do Java Kotlin another day, Nadim. That'll require a little bit more of a setup, I think. Alright, we got the first answer from Nico, says Python, but a lot of people are saying JavaScript. Alright, so let's go with the first person. We'll do a quick Python test. Now, I'm not a Python expert. I do most of my daily work in JavaScript, so this is going to be, I might struggle a little bit, but we'll see. Alright, so we'll do, I don't know, what's a good test for Copilot to do? Well, let's try to see if, with this one little file, if I start typing some comments of what I want a function to do, if it's going to be able to figure that out. So let's say I want to do, I want to take a string and I want to kebab case it. So let's do a kebab case a string. And I'll just pause right there. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out what it wants to do. Now you can press Control and Enter. That pops open a little sidebar that forces Copilot to start synthesizing. So, and I've seen it do it different. I've seen it synthesize different results here on the right side. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Like, what is this? What is this 200 lines of comment? I don't know what that is, but it's a little strange. So, does it have a kebab case situation for me? Maybe not. Let's start with a variable here. So I'm going to do title equals, this is my title. Okay? And now I'm going to give it a comment. So I'm going to give it some context, right? I'm going to give it a string to work with. And that way it has something to kind of fall back on. And you probably want to see my screen. That would be a good idea. Let me see here. Please share the screen. Yeah, sorry folks. Got a little carried away here. Alright, I got a Python test.py file, the only file I have here. And I have title there. And if I press Control Enter, we get a little Copilot tab here that opens up. And it's going to synthesize some solutions for us. It says synthesizing 10 of 10 and duplicates are hidden. So right now it doesn't know what I want to do, because it has, I didn't give it really any work to do, right? I just put out a string and that's it. So So I'm going to give it a comment, and I want to say kebab case, the title. So it's just taking that from my file, right? It's synthesizing. It's already trying to help me. And this is actually pretty cool because, yeah, a lot of times I'm watching the screen as I'm typing, and if I see a suggestion, I'm going to accept it. So yeah, I do want a kebab case, the title in this case. This is not something that's going to be offered to you by just regular code completion. So look, it's showing me that it wants to print the title, and no, I don't want to print the title. I want to kebab case it, right? So I'm going to go to Control Enter and see what it offers now. Okay, print title, print lower, upper, title. Okay, by the way, title case is something that comes with Python, so that's pretty interesting. But we want to kebab case it. No offers there. Print title in kebab case. Still not helping me. Okay. Ah, look at that. Okay, so I gave it a function definition, and it's guessing that now I want to create this function that looks like this. Okay, so that looks pretty interesting and promising right there. Let's do a Control Enter just to see what other options it might synthesize for me. Okay. Yeah, these are pretty. I think these will do what I want, and there's different variations on the same theme here. So they'll all do pretty much the same thing. And you have to be careful about which ones you pick here, because I've seen it where it doesn't actually do what you want, like this one right here. Although the name of the function does say uppercase title, so clearly that's not going to work. This one, I don't know what this is. What is case fold? I don't know, but it doesn't look like what I want. So I'm going to go with the first one here. All right, and now I want to say print title in snake case. Huh. Print title in kebab case. Let's see if it's gonna. Okay, so it wants to redefine the function, but instead I want to do print. Okay, so now when I say print, now it's giving me the completion that I can use the function that I've previously defined and pass in that variable that I've previously defined. Alright, so this is very helpful, I think. How much checking you're going to be doing of the code that it's recommending, it depends on the complexity of the function, I'm guessing, because here this is a very simple function. I know what I want to do, but I might not want to think about typing it out. It's kind of embarrassing, but I'll admit it. I don't always want to think about the code I'm writing. Sometimes I just want to know it, and sometimes I forget it. So, alright, so let's do that. I'm gonna just open up a little terminal here, and let's do that. Python test. Huh. Okay. Python test. This is my title. So not exactly kebab case, right? Because it did put the little dashes in between, but it didn't do a lowercase first, which I prefer. Let's see if that's one of the options. Ah, so look at that. The next recommendation is print title kebab, and it just prints the whole thing. It does two lower, and it replaces any kind of space with the dash. So this will do the whole thing for me. Oh, I need to call the function. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted. So it's like it's a thing to get used to. It's an iterative approach. Let's see if you guys have any questions here. Alright, sorry folks, I'm a little behind. Okay, here we go. Fibonacci in Python, Javier asks. Fibonacci. Let's test it out. Why not? Let's do Fibonacci series. Okay. It's doing something. All I'm doing is pressing enter, and then the next line is automatically suggested by Copilot. I'm not doing anything except pressing enter and tab. Enter and tab. Okay, is that going to work? I don't even know. I'm not even checking it. I'm just going to call fib and see if that does anything for us. Nope. So you can get yourself into a little bit of a jam if you don't actually pay attention to what's going on here, right? So let's go with Control Enter and see what things it'll suggest here. All right, not much on that. You sometimes have to give it in the action that you want it to do. So get Fibonacci. Let's do get Fibonacci n. Okay. Okay, that looks about the same as before. So we're missing the n parameter. Let's do I don't know, 10. Okay, there we go. Let's do 100. Okay, that seems to be working, and I didn't even have to figure that out or look it up anywhere. So I guess that's the value here, right? Is when you don't remember a certain function, when you don't want to have to remember your college days of figuring this stuff out. You learned all this stuff before. You know what Fibonacci sequence does look like, but you might not know it in a certain language. Maybe you're learning a new language, and instead of having to look it up on Stack Overflow, as we usually do, this is kind of like built in for you, which is pretty cool. Alright, so let's see. What are you guys saying over here? Screen, screen, screen. Okay, I went back too far. Okay, so that's kind of an example. Now it does support many languages. I don't know like how many languages or which ones, but I did try it with JavaScript and Python so far. Now another really useful thing that this thing can do is validate strings using regular expressions. So for example, let's say you have validate email address, right? So let's do a define. There we go. Look at that. It just pops up for me, and I'm hoping it's true. I'm hoping it's right. But it's a start. At least I don't have to slow down and look up stuff while I'm coding. And validating an email address is a problem that's been solved, or not, depending on your camp. There's different validation functions for email, but this will give me a start, and it's usually when I Google for stuff, I'll find something like this and I'll use it. So let's do print. Let's go with print is email address valid, and we'll pass in title, and I'll change the title. Well, let's see if that works right there. Okay, so it's giving me some kind of error. What's going on here? RE is not defined. This. So here's an example of where we have a little bit of a problem, right? Because RE, some kind of regular expression library that this piece of code is expecting, is not here, right? Import RE, says Sergey. Let's import RE. Now, I'm not a Python person, but hopefully RE is something we can just import like that, and yeah, it looks like it is. Boom. Hey, that's not an email address. But what about this one? And that one is. Very cool. So it doesn't automatically import stuff for you. You have to kind of know. And Visual Studio Code in this case helps me out by automatically importing RE for me. Cool. Alright, let's see here. John says, it looks cool. How much will it cost? I don't know. Right now it's free. But I've heard that eventually Microsoft might start charging for this service. And right now is a good time to try it out, I guess. So if you want to try it out for free and see if this is actually going to be something that's useful to you and worth paying for, it might be a good time to do that. I don't know about what their ideas are for pricing in the future. It's all experimental at this point. Okay. Pawan says, try only test at mail. I mean, I could try that, but it's like, it depends on the regular expression that this pulls up. So we can also see what other regular expressions this can generate for us. These are all being pulled not out of thin air, but from other online sources, like repositories that people have code in. So here's another example, and I didn't even select one. This one is the next one that it recommends because I deleted the first one. So here's a totally different example, and if I press Control Enter, I'm sure we'll see a bunch of other ones. So look at all these different suggestions that it has for email validation. Some of them look the same, other ones are not the same at all. There we go. Folks, is this too small? Can you not see this? Is this better? Alright. Byron asks an important question. Do you think that this can replace us, as in developers? I don't think so. I think us as developers, being that we are humans, we are going to keep learning new things. Is it going to replace? I mean, there's a lot of developers out there, all different kinds of developers. There's people that are, that are happy writing the same code. They create a form online, for example, for a website, and they do that over and over and over again. But the beauty is that we as humans can learn new things, and we can leverage new tools. Maybe AI will get there one day, but I don't think Copilot is it. Copilot is just going to be another tool that's going to help us humans. And if AI gets to a point where it can write code for us completely, then we are going to find other, more important, human-oriented work to do. So that's just my thoughts on that. Here's the screen, folks. Sorry about that again. Is this big enough now for everybody? Confusing myself because I got two monitors here and I'm not seeing the right one that's actually going out to you all. Work in progress. Work in progress. Okay. John thinks they will charge money. $100 per year. I'm not sure where you're getting that idea, but maybe, who knows? Okay, who wants to try JavaScript next? And if we do try JavaScript, should we try React, Angular, Node? Which one should we do? Let me know in the comments. Unless there's another Python test we do before we leave. Okay, I got Nico. Again, Nico, you're quick with the responses here. Nico says React. He reacted quickly. Oh, that was bad. Okay, let's do React because I already have that folder here. And we're just going to be testing JavaScript functions anyway, so it really doesn't matter, right? Okay, so I'm going to go to my React folder and let's create a new app. npx create React app, my app. Satyam says to increase views, go with view. And folks, this might not be the last time I'm doing a stream about Copilot. I'll probably be doing more of these, so we'll get a chance to get some more tests in another stream. For Python, for example. Carlos says, will this replace Tabnine? So I got an email from one of the Tabnine folks because they saw my channel and they thought, oh, you should do a video on Tabnine too. And I've tried it out. I'm getting a very different experience with Tabnine. And I don't know if it was because I was using it wrong or because well, it's probably because I was using it wrong and I was expecting something else. You know, I'm expecting a full completion of functions like I was with Copilot because that's what I tried first. But Tabnine has been around much longer, and Tabnine is supposed to help you as you're writing code. So you actually have to be actively thinking and participating, and that's, you know, that should be the case anyway because you're writing code and you're a programmer, so you should be thinking about what you're doing. Tabnine just has more of a, it's kind of like helping you a little bit, gently guiding you, whereas Copilot says, no, I'm going to do it this way and I'm going to write the whole function for you. So, a little bit of a difference. But I will probably do a Tabnine test or comparison as well. I have an installation of Tabnine here. Alright, we've got our function, we got our application ready here, my app, there it is. As you can see, I've already been playing around with my app backup. So let's try that out. Let's go to my app and npm start. That should bring up my browser. Okay, there's the React application. Okay, I'm going to move this around a little bit so that we got some space. And let's go to the source folder. Where's that? app.js is our component here. Alright, so an example that we can do that I already did with Python, we can do email validation, right? So let's try that real quick here. I'm going to do an input and type text. Look at that. It's suggesting all that. I'm not even. This is not like regular Visual Studio Code stuff, as far as I know. This is actually coming from Copilot. So I can just press Tab and it'll fill all that in, which I kind of like. You know, the class name might not actually match what I have, or maybe it does. Let's check the CSS file. I wonder if it's pulling the CSS from app.css or if it's just randomly suggesting these things. Nope. That makes me wonder though. What if I have input dot my CSS class. Let's do that. Color red. I don't know. Okay, so let's see if this will suggest that I use that class name from my CSS file. No, not getting anything anymore. Okay, let's start from scratch. Nope, it's not doing that. Oh well, that's fine. On change equals, and we'll do a function up here. Oh, okay, that's fine. Let's do a function on change. It's trying to console log it, not sure why. Okay, so we got a little bit of a thing here on change, and let's say we wanted to print, hey, I was just about to say, what if we wanted to print the value of the text box, and it already guessed it. That's what Copilot is doing. It's kind of like trying to figure out what I want to do and showing me an example of that. So let's say we want to do is email valid? Question mark. Look at that. Look at that. I just typed the comment in, and it's already doing this. It's putting in the regular expression. It's checking the right e.target. It's checking the right parameter, and it knows that that parameter is it's an event from a DOM node. That's crazy. So clearly I'm not going to write my code like this, right? But the fact that it's doing this is pretty incredible. Let's do like a little file here for utilities. Let's do a utils.js file. And I'm going to just create another function here. You know what? I'm going to tell it what I want to do. I want to do validate email. Nope, that's not what I want. I want to create a new function to do that. Yep. Okay. Probably need a C in there to let it know that it's a function and not a function. Okay, I'm not getting any suggestions right now, but I can always force it by going to Control Enter. And there we go. So we got a bunch of validation functions for JavaScript popping up now. And let's just use that one. Great. Kind of a no-brainer here. Is valid email. Okay. So I want to do that here. I want to do the check. And I wanted to use that function. So let me just retype this. Is valid email. I know that's not proper English, but it's fine. Const is valid email equals, let's see what it suggests. Okay, so it's suggesting a regular expression, but what I wanted to do is actually suggest that other utility function that I created. And I don't know if it's going to do that. Nope. But you can see that the suggestions have changed too. There are a bunch of different suggestions now. So, interesting. Some of them are completely off base. Like, what is this? Wait, where did I see that one? What is this? It's doing like validation of passwords, valid name, valid surname. I don't know what that is, but it's not what I want. Okay. What I want is for it to call that other function. And we're going to rely on Visual Studio Code here to help us out. So it's going to automatically pull in our utility. And look at that. It knows that I'm calling that function, and now it's passing in the right value that I wanted to pass in. So that's pretty neat. Now I'm just going to press tab instead of having to type all that out. And if you're doing this quickly, that's pretty cool. This is not something I want. I don't know why it's doing that. So another option is offering, do you want to set the class name based on your parameter? Well, no. I just want to print, see if it does anything here. Print to console. Console log. Okay, interesting. Let's see what the result is here. Console, and I'm gonna just start typing here. Oh, it's not liking something. What did I do? Cat IX is valid email. Did I import the wrong function? Okay, it's getting confused because I named the variable and the function the same. Not a good practice. Bad Alex. Okay, so now it's going to be typing in false, 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 at false, 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 dot, C. Oh, there we go. Now it's true. Cool. So that's it in action, I guess. So, I mean, I just want to say like a couple of other things. You saw how it suggested some pretty ridiculous results, right? Well, you have to be careful, of course, if you're going to use it. And you want to make sure that you're not pulling in any kind of code that's secure, that's got security issues. You got to always check to make sure that your code is secure. And in the long run, I think that what is the potential of ruining people that are new developers that are coming into the field and they're learning how to code? Does this have the potential to ruin them and not let them learn the skills that they need in order to survive out there? Well, I think all our tools kind of do that, right? This goes back to the question of bringing another tool into the ecosystem and using a new tool that's going to help. So it's kind of like, well, if you're going to be a carpenter, should you learn how to make nails? Should you learn how to use a handheld screwdriver before you learn how to use a powered screwdriver? You should probably know that. And as a developer, should you have to learn Vim in order to write a web application? Well, some people will say yes. But is Visual Studio Code, even without Copilot, is that helping us too much? Helping a new developer too much? Is it interfering with them learning the coding process? Is TypeScript is another tool that's really helpful. I like TypeScript. I use it for all my production projects. Is that a tool that's ruining us? Because it's really helping out with JavaScript development. And this is another one of those things where maybe now you're going to avoid having to look something up, but is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think you should always know how to look things up, how to look the code up, whether it's on Stack Overflow or somewhere else. Let's take a look at some of your questions here. Daniel says it's using GPT-3 to generate code based on index code. It doesn't use your existing code. So yeah, GPT-3 is what it's using in the back end. It doesn't use your existing code. I don't know about that. I think it may. Like you saw examples of it using my isValidEmail function and passing in the right parameter into there. So I don't know, like if you write, well, okay, if you already have a function defined in your code, why would it redefine that function, right? That's the question. It probably wouldn't. It would just pull in a new function from whatever it learned out there in the wild. Alright. Oh, yeah. Daniel also says GPT-3 can also generate new code based on what it learned, not just suggest existing code. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. This is true, and this is something I've witnessed myself. I'm not sure how to demonstrate it right now. Let's say we have... Let's say we have some parameters. Well, you know what? Let's do a JSON file here. Let's see if it does this. I haven't tried this before, so I'm going to just try this. Okay. R. Okay. So we're going to have an array of, I don't know, strings. 1, 2, look at that. I didn't do that. It's doing it by itself. 2, 3. That's all you got? That's all you got? 4, 5. Okay, so we got 5. Let's go over to our FJS file, and we're going to pull in... And maybe we have a function that takes in all those parameters. The names are just so bad here. Not quite sure what I'm trying to do here. Return array. That's interesting. It's using my code. But what I want to do is see if we can I'm just playing around with this and seeing what it's doing, what it's suggesting. So far it's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm not quite sure Any ideas, Daniel? How we can demonstrate that? Ah. Well, I'm glad people are liking my headset. At least. Thanks, folks. All right. So here's what I'm doing. Okay, I want to demonstrate that this thing will generate code, right? So I want to basically say, okay, this is the list of parameters. Can you figure out what parameters I want to pass into a function? And I want to use objects.json. It's like a JSON file that's in the project, basically. It's generating those, but it's not pulling that from my list. Let's start with just this first. This probably does need to be. Oops. I think this is a Copilot feature right here. Figured out that I want that to be an empty object. Maybe we can play around with JSON. Let's see what it can do here. Maybe can it figure out the property names inside the objects? Let's try that. Pretty sure that that's Copilot. Check it out. Alright, I finally got to something interesting. So, it's generating, based on previous experience in my code, what I want. I think Excel can do this, like many years ago. Actually, to be honest, I have no idea how Excel does it or how this does it, and what technology is behind the scenes. If this is in fact AI driven, or is this something pretty simple to do. But it helps me out tremendously when I have long lists of properties to go through like this. Any other questions about JavaScript? Let's see if I had any other examples. Well, another example I had was just some really annoying things that you probably don't want to write. And I don't know how useful these examples are. But for example, if you have let's say you you wanted to create a random number, right? Get random numbers from 0 to 1,000. And it's not quite doing what I want because it's taking a min and a max, which is actually the better way to code, but I want an actual function that just does that. So without taking in parameters. This one. I'll take that one. And I didn't need to write that, so that's pretty handy. So I got my random numbers. Let's close this out here. Let's say I have a button and I do a click, on click, oops, on click. What am I doing wrong here? Now I'm just so dependent on these tools that if it's not showing up immediately with some kind of suggestion, I think I'm doing something wrong. I think it's just on click, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, we'll give it a try. And I'm going to put that here. Look at that. So I don't know what it's thinking, like how it's figuring this out. Is it basically thinking, well, you just wrote the get random numbers function, so you must want to use that, right? Or is that because that's the only function that's not used in this file that it's recommending it to me? I don't know. But it's pretty cool nonetheless. Because that is in fact exactly what I want to do. We've got a problem here. What's the problem? Okay, let's click on that, and it got a bunch of random numbers. Oh, I didn't tell it that I wanted 10 numbers. How did it figure that out? Get 1,000 random numbers. That's fine. We know you can do it, Copilot. We know you can. So we got 1,000 random numbers. That's fine. Let's just keep it to 100. And I don't know. Right now it's just totally random, right? What if we wanted to get the median? Or let's get the mode. The mode, if anybody remembers that, that's from math. That's not what I want. Get the mode from a number array. Yes. I don't know what you're doing. You know what? I'm going to back up here. Instead of doing it one line at a time, I'm going to do my little trick with Control Enter. And let's have it give me some results. So yeah, here's a big function that I probably don't feel like writing out. Let's do that. And we're going to get the mode. And we're going to print the mode instead of printing all the numbers. Well, you know, we do want to print all the numbers, but we also want to print the mode. Print the mode to the console. So right now I'm just doing basically tab enter, and it's figuring out what parameters I want to pass into what functions. So that's really handy. Alright, click, and there's our mode. It's 21. do it again. Click. Mode is 612. So, interesting. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Alright. I think that's, is that all we're going to do today? Anybody else want to do something else here with React? Maybe something React specific or something JavaScript specific? Let me know. Okay, so Daniel is a bit of a hacker. He knows some tools that'll allow you to do a man-in-the-middle proxy. Yeah, we can definitely see what it's sending back and forth between GitHub or wherever it's sending to, probably the GitHub servers, and my terminal. Hopefully it's not sending any of my private code up there, which would not be cool. But it probably is. I'm guessing if you have a private project you're working on locally and you have Copilot turned on, it may even send some of that stuff up to GitHub servers. I don't know. I'd have to actually check. Maybe they have some documentation on this. But one way to do it, as Daniel suggests, is using a man-in-the-middle proxy to see what it's doing and maybe logging that information out. Master says Tabnine versus Kite versus Copilot. Yeah, probably going to do that in another stream. Marcos says make a full front-end app with React. Nice. So I do have actually a bunch of apps that I've written for my courses, some samples, and maybe I'll do that next time. Maybe I'll just take one of those applications and see how Copilot can actually help me in a real coding session. And we can do that on a stream. So I think we're going to wrap it up there, folks. It's been pretty interesting. We did Python today. We did JavaScript. I find it to be a pretty helpful tool so far, as long as I'm not distracted with all the different options that it's suggesting. So I'm going to keep it on. I'm going to keep Copilot right here in VS Code. And hey, if I don't like its suggestion, I just won't use it. But a lot of times it's really actually helped me out, especially with those long strings of parameters, long lists of parameters, things that look like this, things that are really pain in the butt to write out and you know you have to. It's good for that kind of stuff. Alright, folks, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thanks for your suggestions. Really appreciate it. It's really fun. Daniel says, can it center a div horizontally and vertically? You know what? I haven't tried this in CSS or HTML yet, but I think that's also supported. You know what? Let's do a quick test. I'm really curious about that. Center. Let's give it a class name called center div in my CSS file. Text align center. I'm sorry, that's not going to do it. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. I mean, it is suggesting things, but it's not suggesting what I need. Let's do vertically center. Vertically center. Let's see if it does anything for that. Position absolute? No, absolutely not. Okay, I'm afraid that that's not going in the right direction. So maybe CSS needs a little more work. Nathaniel says, will AI take our jobs? Yeah, eventually. But you're going to get a new job that's better. So, there you go, folks. That's a good place to stop. I'll see you all next time. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a good one. Bye.